Imagine staring into the mirror and seeing your own face reflected back at you, not in the glass, but in the eyes of your teenage daughter. That's exactly what Tiffani Thiessen experienced when she looked at her 16-year-old daughter Harper Renn Smith on the red carpet. It's a moment that feels almost sci-fi. A parent and child so visually alike, it's like time travel. But what does that really mean? Personally, I think it's a fascinating glimpse into how genetics and identity collide. When someone says, "I look at her and feel like I'm literally looking at myself," it's not just about physical resemblance. It's about legacy, continuity, and the weird, uncanny way we see ourselves in the next generation. It's like a mirror held up to the past, but with a teenager's energy and attitude thrown in. What makes this really interesting is how society reacts to it. We're obsessed with these moments, but do we ever stop to think about what it means for the child? Are they pressured to live up to their parents' image, or does it create a unique bond? I mean, Harper's reaction, "I look up to her so much," suggests it's a positive thing, but I wonder how that dynamic shifts as she grows older. It's a tightrope walk between admiration and expectation. Now, let's talk about the red carpet appearances. Tiffani and Harper aren't strangers to the spotlight. They've walked it together multiple times. But here's what I find fascinating: the way their public moments are framed. It's not just about the dresses or the event, it's about the narrative. When a mom and daughter share the same stage, it's a statement. It says, "We're in this together, but also, look how perfect we are." But what's the cost of that? I mean, Harper's already been to Frozen 2 premieres and zombie movie openings. That's not just a teenager's life, it's a brand. And Tiffani, as a mom, is balancing her own career with being a public figure for her kids. It's a tightrope act. On one hand, she's creating memories. On the other, she's commodifying them. What many people don't realize is how much pressure that puts on the child. Harper's favorite show is White Collar, a show about con artists. Maybe that's a metaphor, or maybe it's just a coincidence. Either way, it's a reminder that even in the most glamorous moments, there's a story unfolding that's not always visible. Then there's the parenting angle. Tiffani talks about bedtime chats with her kids, discussing their days, their weekends, their fears. That sounds beautiful, but let's be real. How many parents actually do that? In a world where screens dominate attention spans, the fact that Tiffani prioritizes these conversations is remarkable. She's not just a mom, she's a strategist. She's building a relationship that's rooted in communication, not just obligation. And when she says her son still loves hanging out with his parents, it's a rare thing. Most teens are all about independence, but here's a kid who's still into family adventures. What does that say about Tiffani's approach? It suggests she's found a balance between guiding and letting go. But here's the thing. The moment she says, "I can't believe she's going to drive next summer," it's a reminder that time is a thief. We all know that, but it hits harder when you're the parent. It's not just about the child growing up. It's about the parent realizing they're no longer the center of their world. That's a bittersweet truth that most people don't talk about openly. And then there's the advice. Listen to your intuition. It's simple, but it's also profound. In an age where we're bombarded with data, algorithms, and social proof, trusting your gut feels like a radical act. Tiffani's passing that down to her kids is smart. But what's even more interesting is how she frames it. She says, "Your heart's never going to steer you wrong." That's not just parenting advice, it's life advice. It's a rejection of the noise that tells us we need permission to make choices. Yet, I wonder how many of her kids will remember that when they're 25, surrounded by conflicting opinions. It's one thing to say it, it's another to live it. And that's the challenge, isn't it? Teaching kids to trust themselves in a world that constantly tells them they're wrong. Finally, there's the support system. Tiffani's not raising her kids alone. She's leaning on the mothers of her daughter's friends. That's not just practical, it's a statement about community. In an era where parenting feels like a solo mission, this is a reminder that it's okay to ask for help. But here's the deeper insight. When she says, "It really does take a community to raise healthy kids," she's acknowledging that parenting isn't just about the nuclear family. It's about creating a network of support, a safety net. And that's something I think a lot of people overlook. We're so focused on the parent-child relationship that we forget the role of friends, neighbors, and even strangers in shaping a child's life. So, what if we started treating parenting like a team sport? What if we stopped comparing our kids to others and started sharing the load? That's the kind of shift that could change everything. So what's the takeaway here? Tiffani Thiessen's story isn't just about a mom and daughter looking alike. It's about the invisible threads that connect generations, the quiet battles of raising kids in a hyper-connected world, and the courage to trust your instincts. But here's the question that keeps me up at night. If we're all trying to be better parents, better people, what if we stopped focusing so much on the end goal and started celebrating the messy, beautiful process of getting there? Because in the end, it's not about perfection. It's about showing up, even when you're not sure what that looks like.